Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports takes from around the country. Now, you're probably wondering, why should I watch it over here instead of over there? Because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They don't even know who you are. They say this all the time. They talk down to us. They act like we don't know what we're talking about. They just refer to us as a bunch of morons in on Twitter or on the YouTube comment section. I disagree with that. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing ever, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is amazing, then also let me know in the comments below. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. So please do consider subscribing because we are building an amazing community here and it's turning into something truly, truly special. And I really want you to be part of it. I want to build something that we all feel actually connected to, something that we can all be proud to be part of. And it's really turning into something amazing so far. So I really believe this is something we can do. So I would absolutely love to have your support. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're with the Herd, Colin Cowherd, talking about the Bills beating the Dolphins. Now, before I hit play, I feel like I'm going to agree with a lot with Colin because me and him both always believed in the Bills and Josh Allen especially. So I'm sure there's just going to be a lot of things that he's going to say. He doesn't like the Dolphins as much. I mean, I still think the Dolphins are good, but I'm on the record saying that the Dolphins never beat anyone worth beating. And Dolphins fans have really come at me. And then people that are so anti-Josh Allen saying making excuses, this or that. So I'm going to do a very quick victory lap because there was a lot. I made a Josh Allen video and a lot of people were coming at me saying Josh Allen's not that good. You're making excuses for Josh Allen and stuff like that. Well, now Josh Allen led his team to the number 2 seed ahead of Patrick Mahomes, has better stats than Patrick Mahomes, literally took that team on his back and won all those games in a row, and he didn't even get a Pro Bowl. That's insanity. Also, for the record, why do they give those awards before all the games are played? That makes no sense to me.
I said Buffalo ultimately is the team you can trust in this division. And you saw the overwhelming talent and natural ability of Josh Allen was on display. And Tua's clear limitations were. Tua, for the record, his first half numbers are amazing.
Look at those
stats. Second half,
426 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and now the thing that people come at Josh is his 3 turnovers, which I will discuss a little bit later.
Half numbers, 9 touchdowns, 8 picks all year. He's a guy, once he's off the brilliant script of his head coach. Josh Allen, it's not about the script. It's not about the coach. It's about the dude.
So for those of you that may not know, the script, meaning that the first half, the offense is very much scripted. They pretty much know exactly what they're going to run. So a good way to evaluate the quarterback and head coach for that matter, is how do you do in the first half versus the second half. And usually it's kind of seen as you're not that great of a quarterback if you're only good in the first half and not so much in the second half. And that's, because it's more up to Tua to make things happen rather than having these set plays that everyone knows you're going to run. And so that's kind of, the knock at Tua, at least this season. And again, I think Tua is a pretty good quarterback. I mean, I think Tua, unfortunately, I see this season more as Tua's second season in the NFL, honestly, because he had Brian Flores in the beginning. They didn't even want him. There was these rumors that he was going to be traded. I mean, it was just such a tough situation. And you know what? Not everyone is going to be as elite and as resilient as, say, like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or any of these other quarterbacks that have faced, such intensity. And I think at the heart, Tua is a nice person, and I don't see him as an absolute dog, right? And I'm not saying that as a negative thing necessarily. I really genuinely like Tua. So I just think that he has more growth in him, and I just wouldn't be so quick just to count him out and just be like, see, this proves that Tua is not that good and you can't win with him, because I think you can. I don't think Tua right now is the guy that you can just put, that he can put his team on his back, and also the physicality limitations of Tua. He's a little bit smaller. He's admitted that he can't see always over the offensive linemen, and he's gotten injured and the concussions and all of this. I mean, imagine watching that game last night and you saw what Josh Allen did. Josh Allen had to just put his head down and just bang barrel through brick walls to win that game. Tua can't do that, right? And maybe it's just because of the whole idea that you're afraid that he's going to get a concussion, and maybe he's no likely more to get injured than, a Josh Allen. I don't agree with that, because I think if Tua did exactly what Josh Allen did yesterday, Tua would have not survived that game. Many players wouldn't have survived that game. That's what makes Josh Allen so special. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have survived that. Jalen Hurts wouldn't have survived that. Joe Burrow wouldn't have survived that. I mean, I think really, as one guy in the comment section said this morning or last night, he hasn't seen that since Cam Newton. And Cam Newton didn't even survive that, right? Like, Cam Newton's just fell off physically. And that's like the frustrating thing about Josh Allen, and why I want Josh Allen to get an actual real offensive head coach that won't just use and abuse him, so Josh Allen's not out of the league by the time he hits 29 or something. So I want Josh Allen to get like a real head coach and minimize him just being like, okay, you got to go win us the game, just put your head down and barrel through. So yeah,
Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are so gifted, otherworldly, that they can have bad nights. Josh was the only person beating Josh last night. Couple of bad picks, 3 turnovers. And he overcomes it on the road on sheer talent. Stuff that almost nobody else on the planet can do. Think about the year for the Bills. Head coaching drama. Von Miller controversy. Offensive coordinator fired. Stephon Diggs unhappy.
Do you guys see how wild of a throw that is? I mean, like, it's really just like unbelievable. He's fading away, backing up, and he throws like the most perfect pass you could ever imagine. I mean, it's wild.
Injuries to the defense. Josh Allen blows through all of it. You're looking at a guy, it's John Elway, bigger, stronger, faster. The best quarterback is winning these divisions. Aaron Rodgers in the AFC East isn't close to Josh Allen, the talent. And Tua is ordinary off script. You look at these numbers last night. On the road, 473 yards, 8.2 yards a pass, 30 of 38 against Vic Fangio. 38 minutes of ball control.
And that's why I think it's right. You're right to call out a Brock Purdy winning so well with the 49ers, because look at all those weapons that the 49ers have with the genius of Shanahan, and you're just like, Brock Purdy's not doing that. And again, I don't even mean this to knock a Brock Purdy, but it's like Brock Purdy, many quarterbacks can't do what just Josh Allen did, how he won that game and how he plays. And that's the frustrating thing that I see from this season. Like, no one was ever talking about Josh Allen being the MVP, and yet they have the 2nd seed, and like, look what he had to do. They were talking about Tua being the MVP, right? It was Tua versus Lamar, right up until like the last couple of weeks, essentially, until, the Ravens demolished them. And, because first it was going to be Purdy versus Lamar, and then Lamar blew him out of the water and was like, okay, Purdy no longer. And then it was like, well, what about Tua? Can Tua steal this? And then, Lamar blew Tua out of the water. And now you have the Bills, and no one was ever talking about Josh Allen. And what Josh Allen did was just incredible. So if you guys understand why there's so much like the lack of love for Josh Allen, I honestly don't understand it. So please let me know in the comments below, because I honestly don't understand like where it comes from, why Josh Allen doesn't get the respect. I mean, he doesn't have great teams, yet he's had some really great success. He has a head coach that is a defensive head coach, which we know it's now 2024. You need to have a good offensive head coach, or at the very least, an amazing, a great offensive coordinator who then eventually goes and gets a head coaching job. And Josh Allen doesn't have that. He had that for 1 year with Brian Daboll, and that was like his best year. And then Brian Daboll left and got a head coaching job, and so that matters. And so I'm just curious, like, why people refuse to see that, because everyone talks about Patrick Mahomes doing great, and he got a Pro Bowl nod, and he played worse than Josh Allen, and his team did worse than Josh Allen, and yet he has Travis Kelce, and he has Andy Reid, and he has all this other stuff going for him. And so it just doesn't I help me make sense of it because I truly can't.
The last 12 times Miami has faced Buffalo, Josh Allen is 11-1. The environment and the circumstances, whatevs. He wins. Remember the story? Brady was going to own the Dolphins or part of them? Josh Allen does. He's right up the street. He will dominate this division until he's out of his prime, which is probably 6 or 7 years. He is otherworldly. And Buffalo, he willed them to the number 2 seed. Most everybody bailed on this franchise when they lost to Philadelphia in overtime. And I said, no, hold on. It's still Josh Allen. It's a good organization. They're finding a running game. This is one of their better offensive lines. Go with the best player in the division. And that's Josh Allen, and it's not particularly close. It's not a Belichick division. It's not an Aaron division. It's not a Mike McDaniel and a fast receiver in Miami division. This division will be owned because, by the way, this was a year where they had the OC fired, head coach drama, receiver unhappy, controversy, injuries. This was a year that it didn't go right. It wasn't perfect. Coaching changes midseason, and he still wins it. It took.
That's a big deal, too. Again, his offensive coordinator, which when you especially don't have an offensive head coach, your coordinator, from a quarterback standpoint, is your guy. That is who you are interacting with, like, the most. You know, it's just like you're figuring out the plays, you're talking, you're in constant communication. You know, like, that is your guy. He got fired, and then he had to have a new guy, and they still won. I mean, guys, that is so hard. That is true adversity. That is adversity that we honestly have not seen other players overcome, like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Jalen Hurts, like a Justin Herbert, like a Trevor Lawrence. Joe Burrow, kind of. I think Joe Burrow overcome the adversity of having a terrible offensive line and still making it to the Super Bowl. But, you know, still ultimately lost. And so, you know, and I think also his head coach is still kind of a question mark. Like, is he a good offensive head coach? Is he not? Is it all Joe Burrow? I think maybe some of the wins that the Cincinnati Bengals had without Joe Burrow maybe kind of shows that, hey, you know, he doesn't know what he's doing offensively. So again, Josh Allen has overcome, and that's one of my marks of what I say what makes someone elite is overcoming adversity. And I said before, you know, back, you know, a few weeks ago when we were talking so much about Brock Purdy being the MVP, and I said he has not overcome any true adversity, and people said that's BS, that's nonsense. Oh, so what? You have to play for a bad team in order to be considered elite? And I said, no, it's not what I'm saying at all. And there we go. This is Josh Allen has overcome this adversity and has done it with flying colors.
To the final minute of the regular season, but the truth almost always comes out. Here's Josh with the number 2 seeded Buffalo Bills.
At the end of the day, this is fun. This is cool. I'll never say no to winning a division. But the only thing that it solidifies is a home game and one more game. So it doesn't mean anything if we go out there next week and don't do our job. So we gotta find a way to put our best foot forward and go find a victory next week.
When he made that run off to the right,
yeah,
and I was thinking to myself, these are pro athletes. These are people that were the best athlete in their high school, college, often in their position at the draft. And Josh Allen is running through them on the road. That play to me, it was a little Steve Young. It was a little Brett Favre. It was a little Lamar Jackson. But that scramble,
right,
just intuitive understanding, and then at 6'6", leans forward and gets the first. That's why whenever I hear these analytic people, winning is not a quarterback stat. Reverse the quarterbacks. Miami wins last night. And that's not a shot at McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Tua. Josh is just different. All right. Packers.
That's exactly right. If this is your first time checking out a video, I don't always just agree with everything Colin Cowherd says. I disagree plenty with him, but we both definitely do align on the Bills and Josh Allen. So it is this. I think this was just such a fun and exciting game last night. I don't know how you all felt, and that's what's cool is like the Bills aren't my team. Josh Allen isn't my favorite player in the history of the world. So I can just really just get behind the excitement. I mean, sometimes isn't it more fun to watch teams that you don't have so much invested in because you get to just enjoy the excitement, right? If I'm a Miami fan and I'm watching this game and I see it go off the helmet and the guy still catches it, you're just like, that's heartbreaking because that easily could have gone the other way. It easily could have gone so far out of bounds, or it could have easily have been an interception. It could have been so many different things. So when you don't have as much invested in, I think you can just really enjoy the show, right? Because that's what it is. It's a show. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you think Josh Allen gets, he's criticized appropriately? Do you think he gets too much heat and it's not, necessary? Do you think he should have deserved a Pro Bowl? Do you think he should have been an actual MVP consideration? I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this one. And again, please don't forget to subscribe. As I said, we are building an amazing community here, and I truly want to see you part of it. And I truly see this channel just as much as mine as it is yours. And so I want to see you part of it. I want to build something special, and we're already well on our way to doing it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Made the play. Josh is just different. All right. Packers made the playoffs. Green Bay, and man, you talk about rare. Packers made the playoffs. Green Bay. All right.